Okay, today we're going to look at lesson 17. Our I can statement or learning objective is I can simplify expressions using exponent rules. And the rule we're going to look at today is the power rule. And that says when raising a power to another power, you multiply the exponents. And there we have our little generic example. If you have a to the m raised to the n, you multiply those and you have a to the m n power. Now, before we work through some examples, I will just give you a disclaimer. I'm recording this at home today with a different camera than normal. And so if the video might not be as smooth or as good of quality as normal, but I'm going to do my best. I'm also moving through this a little bit quicker than I would. Obviously quicker than I would if we were in person working together, but also a little bit quicker than if I was recording at school, because this camera doesn't like to cooperate as much as the one at school does. So I'm going through it quickly just to make sure I get everything in before it decides to shut itself off. Okay, so looking at your assignment from lesson 16, those first three exponent rules, your assignments, the grades are really good. So that makes me think that you guys are remembering your exponent rules and what to do. So hopefully the same will be true with this one. So we're just going to do some examples of when you have a power raised to another power. And after we work through these examples, you should be able to do your Math Excel work no problem. So I'm just going to work through them. I do recommend that you follow along with me, take some notes, write some down, and you'll be good to go. So we'll start off with a basic problem. We have the quantity x squared raised to the third power. So let me show you why this works. X squared cubed means that we're going to have x squared 3 times. Now, we also know the product rule that says when you have the same base, you add the exponents. So that's x to the 6th. So we can do a shortcut and just multiply those exponents. So x squared to the third is x to the 6th. All right. If we have x to the second, all raised to the 0 power, we know 2 times 0 is 0. X to the 0 power is 1. Okay, number 3. If you have two bases, so we have x squared and y cubed, and they're raised to the 4th power, okay, we're going to do the same thing. You're just going to raise both of those exponents to the 4, so you're going to multiply both of them. So 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12. So you have x to the 8th, y to the 12th. Okay, and we're just going to keep going. If you have, let's see, the quantity 3x squared, all right, sometimes these are tricky. And they seem to be the most tricky problems. So what I want you to notice is that when you have two things in here, if you have a coefficient and a base, you have to treat them separately. If you want to put a multiplication dot in the middle, that can help you. If you want to draw an arrow from the exponent to each of those pieces, you can. Whatever you want to do to help you there is fine. You just have to realize that you're raising that coefficient to the exponent and that base, or that variable, okay? And so 3 is 3 to the first, 1 times 2 is 2. X is just x to the first, so 1 times 2 is 2. Then we can simplify this. Sometimes Math Excel wants you to leave them with exponents, and sometimes you can simplify. But 3 squared is 9, so that's really 9x squared. Okay, number 5, let's say we have the quantity negative 3x squared, all raised to the 0 power. So you can do this one a couple different ways. You can do the power rule, and you can take that 0 to each piece, or we know anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. Okay? You can also have negative exponents. Say we have a to the negative 3rd, and that's being raised to the 10th power. We're still going to do the same thing. It's a power raised to a power, so we multiply. Negative 3 times 10 is negative 30. We can never leave a negative exponent in our answer, so we need to rewrite that as 1 over a to the 30th power. Okay. Number 7, let's say we have the quantity negative 2y cubed raised to the 3rd power. Okay, this is another one. The 2 and the y are separate, so we need to take the exponent to both. So this is negative 2 to the 3rd, and since this is a negative base, we're going to put it in parentheses, and then we'll have y, 3 times 3 is 9. You can simplify that. You can do negative 2 in parentheses cubed in your calculator, and that's going to give you negative 8, y to the 9th. Okay. Number 8, let's do the quantity 2x to the 5th, all raised to the negative 2nd power. Now this one, you can do it a couple different ways. You can do the negative rule first, or you can do the power rule first. It's whatever you want to do. I tend to do the power rule first. I don't know why. I just always do, so that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to have 2 to the negative 2 power and x to the negative 10 power. Both of those are negative exponents, so I'm going to put those on the bottom. And so I'll have 2 squared and x to the 10th, and then I know that 2 squared is 4. So that's 1 over 4x to the 10th power. Okay, let's mix things up a little bit and do the quantity 9g to the 4th raised to the negative 1/2. Okay, now this is a little bit different because we have a fraction, but we're going to do it the exact same way. Okay, again, I like to do the power rule first, so I'm going to have 9 to the negative 1/2, and g, 4 times negative 1/2 is negative 2. So both of those are negative, so I'm going to put them on the bottom. So 9 to the 1/2 and g squared. 9 to the 1/2, that just means the square root of 9. So that's 3g squared on the bottom with a 1 on top. Okay, now we've got a few more examples to do just so you can see a different variety. Let's turn the page here. We're on number 10. So for number 10, let's do m to the 12th raised to the 1/3. I should have done that one before number 9, but it's okay. So 12 times 1/3 is just 12 thirds. 12 over 3 simplifies to 4. So that's m to the 4th. So we multiplied and then simplified. Okay, if we do 5b to the 1/2, all raised to the 2nd power. Again, you take that 2 to both things on the inside. So that's 5 squared. And b, 1/2 of 2 is 1. So if we simplify, that's 25b. Okay, number 12, let's do y times the quantity y to the negative 1 to the negative 3rd. Okay, now this one, again, you can do the negative rule first if you want to, but I recommend that you don't. I recommend that you do the power rule first, because if you do the negative rule first, you're going to run into something that we haven't looked at yet, and if you don't remember how to do it from Algebra 1, then you might be stuck. So this y is all by itself. I'm going to leave it alone. This one, I have negative 1 to the negative 3rd, so negative 1 times negative 3 is 3. So now I have y to the 1st times y to the 3rd, and that gives me y to the 4th. Okay, so these are separated. I had to do the power rule and then the product rule to get my final answer. All right, let's try another one. Let's do x cubed times the quantity 4x squared raised to the 5th power. Okay, so this one is like the one before. We're going to have to do the power rule and the product rule. So I'll do power first. So I'm going to have x cubed, leave it alone. I'm going to have 4 to the 5th and x to the 10th. All right, now 4 to the 5th, I don't know that off the top of my head, but if I type it in the calculator, I will get 1,024. And then I have x. 3 plus 10 is 13. So 1,024, x to the 13th power. And let's see. Let's do another one. Number 14. We have the quantity 2m to the 5/12 power, all raised to the negative third power. Now, I think you have one or two like this in Math Excel. It's a little more complex, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do it here. I'm going to do the power rule first again, because like I said, I like that better. That's just my preference. So I'm going to have 2 to the negative third, and then m, I can do this in the calculator, 5/12 times negative 3. And if I do that in the calculator, it's going to give me negative 5/4. Okay, so both of those are negative, so I'm going to put them in the bottom. So 2 cubed and m to the 5/4. I know 2 cubed is really 8, so 1/8m to the 5/4. Okay, so when you've got those fractions, you can type those in your calculator. You can do that multiplication with your calculator and give yourself a little bit less work. Okay, and we have one more example, and that'll be our last one. And I think you guys would probably be able to figure it out on your own, but I thought I would throw it in here just in case. You have a couple problems like this, I think, in Math Excel, and it has like c to the blank raised to the 8th equals c to the 16th. And so it wants you to say what's in that box. So what times 8 will give us 16? It's 2. So you would say the missing value is 2. Okay? And like I said, I think you've got one or two of those in Math Excel, and I think you'll be able to do those pretty easily. But just in case, just so you know it's there, you've got a problem like that. And I think that all of those examples cover your Math Excel work pretty well. If you run into something that you haven't seen and have any questions, you're welcome to ask me. You can send me an email and ask my instructor, whatever you need to do. But hopefully this should be a nice little easy review for you from Algebra 1. But like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great rest of your day.